So I like to make it a big habit to having to go out to rent some movies, either from Redbox or from the library. And when I went to the library the other day, I stumbled across a few, 5 movies that I rented that gained a lot of my interest. And when I watched all 5 of them, almost all of them really impressed me. I was very, very entertained by all 5 films. So hi, I'm Awesome Joe, and I'm here to do a movie playback review based off all 5 movies, which is one, of course, is The Magnificent Seven. Magnificent Seven is the 2016 film that was released last year, starring Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Vincent D'Onofrio, and so on and so forth. And this is a remake to the old classic Western, The Magnificent Seven, of course, and this movie, I was very intrigued having to see a movie such as this being remade, especially with an all-star cast. And it's like any other Western, you have some arrogant, rich jerk who stumbles upon a small town who wants to gain the property and to build up on his riches. But yet in doing so, he's one of those arrogant villains who comes in, stumbles in, and starts killing people in order to gain that power. So, and one of them happens to be a wife of one of the persons that he has murdered, and she seeks not only just vengeance, but justice as well. And in so doing so, she comes across a gentleman played by Denzel Washington, who she hires, and he is on a mission now, having to recruit several gunslingers into the mix, which is of course including Chris Pratt, Vincent D'Onofrio, Ethan Hawke, and so on and so forth. And this was a very entertaining movie. I had a lot of fun with it. Was it one of the best remakes ever? No, but it was an okay film. I was very entertained by the whole thing. There's a lot of good gunslingings. I can always enjoy a good Western. But it's an alright film, But there's times where you just tell yourself that remakes are not really meant to be. Movies are not really meant to be remade if the original is still a classic and still going on forward. So this movie, it was an alright film. I would have to go ahead and give it a very good 3.3 rating. That's not bad, but it's also not good. It's just okay. So, but it's an alright remake. Would I go and watch it again? Maybe so, but more possibly not. But 3.3 for The Magnificent Seven. That's my first film with these movies that I rented from the library. And if you ever stumble across it, I highly recommend that you go and watch it if you love watching a good Western. So 3.3 for The Magnificent Seven, and now on to the next movie that I rented from the library. Next on the list, we have In the Heart of the Sea. This is a movie based on the classic tale of Moby Dick. And what we are witnessing in this movie is that we have a gentleman who stumbles across an older man who he interviews with, that is played by Brendan Gleeson. And Brendan Gleeson, he tells the story. He's a very startled older man, and he's gone through a lot. And you get to witness what he's gone through in the tale that is foretold by him. And he is played by his younger version is played by Tom Holland. Of course, as you all know, Tom Holland is Spider-Man nowadays that you well know him by. And he's like just one of the ship members of the ship, and he's a simple 15-year-old boy lad, and he's with also the first mate of the ship, played by the star of the movie, Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth, he's a man who is looking for the opportunity to become captain of a ship, but instead of him being the captain on this voyage, he actually is the first mate, and he's very disappointed by that. He feels that he's much more highly capable of being captain of a ship, and he really does show that. He can do a lot towards having to be captain. He does have the capabilities. So, and most people would be wondering when you go and watch this movie is, where is the whale? Where is the big white whale that we all want to go and see? you don't really get to see anything of this whale until within 45 minutes to an hour of the movie, because you get a lot of character build-ups. Is it necessary? No, not really, but it's there. And do you really gain so much interest in any of these characters? Not really, possibly. They try to hint it in there very so often, but it's not very important to the story. Really, most people would just want to go see the exploration of having to go and do this battle against the great white whale, which they call like this vicious monster. And it's an alright movie. The rest of it continues to be more of a survival flick. It's kind of like Castaway, Tom Hanks' Castaway, where they're either stranded on an island or they're stranded out in sea. It's always a fight for survival, having to eat, having to continue to live. There's a lot of cannibalism in the movie. That's what startles Brendan Gleeson's character when he's played by Tom Holland in his early days. And it's an alright flick. I mean, there's not much to spoil on the fact that there are some of them that do survive. Of course, Brendan Gleeson, he's Tom Holland's character, and Tom Holland makes it through. And it's an alright movie. I was kind of expecting more. I know very little about the Moby Dick tale, and this based off of the not the whole story, but the reason as to why that this story was ever created is that they say that it's based on a true story. So is it based on a true story? I have no idea, but only the fact of what this movie is, and the movie with the battle against the great white whale, I would have to go ahead and rate it a simple 3.0 out of 10. So like I said, okay movie. I recommend you go and watch it. I mean, if you really put a lot of attention to the movie, you'd be entertained by it. But if you don't really care so highly about it, you wouldn't probably want to be interested in going to watch this movie. So 3.0 for in the Heart of the Sea. Great movie. Go ahead and watch it. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the next movie that I'm going to review on. Next up, we have the very classic from the 1959 remake of Ben-Hur. And if you are familiar with the original movie Ben-Hur, that's great. And as for me, I didn't watch the 1959 Charlton Heston version. And I came to watching this movie not even know. I never saw the previews. I never saw any of it. All I know is that they were doing a remake of it, and the fact that it was a 1959 version of the movie. And I had no idea what I was watching. I didn't know the story. I didn't watch the trailers. I didn't watch anything of it. But when I first watched it, the first 30 minutes, it was boring. I didn't like it at all. I was so not knowing what the heck I was watching. But I heard that it was a great movie, so I kept on with it. And so when I was watching it, after the first 30 minutes, then it started getting a little bit more interesting, because we have this character, Ben-Hur, his name is Judah Ben-Hur, and he has his best friend / brother, who is played by Toby Kebbell, and he's a Roman general. And those two, they grow up together. They have that brotherly love with each other, but when you grow up, things tend to change, where they both take these different directions into becoming two different people who come to where they there are some things that they don't fully agree on with each other. So one, Ben-Hur, he's a man of peace, and Toby Kebbell's character, he's a man of war. And so one day Ben-Hur, he is betrayed by one of his own, and he is put into slavery. He's a man who has everything and loses everything because he doesn't have his faith. Yeah, he's a man who only takes care of his own, and that's it. He doesn't really take full care of others. So, and you get a lot of cameos of Jesus Christ within the movie. Several here and there, and of course, his crucifixion in the ending. But going back to it, he gets put into slavery. His mother and sister, they are taken away, presumably murdered, for the crimes that he is so falsely committed for. And he's put into slavery onto a ship to row the boats for 5 years. And it's such an excellent scene when you get to see Ben-Hur going through the escape route of them going to battle in the seas. It's just an excellent scene. I mean, that's the part that really drew you into the movie, getting more interest into what you were watching. And so he he escapes. He's on sea, and then he washes up on a beach where he gets to meet Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman, he's a brilliant actor, but in this movie he did not give it his all. He didn't even put anything in the movie at all. And plus, those dreadlocks are terrible. So you've heard, and as have I. I mean, I completely agree. He was just terrible in this movie, but yet he did throw into several hints as to what this character was supposed to be, and I actually caught that. But what did I feel for it? No. But anyways, on to the point. It's kind of a revenge movie, and I love revenge movies. And Ben-Hur, he goes on this quest on having to gain vengeance against his brother by doing a chariot race against him. And the chariot race is unbelievably awesome. I love having to see these two clash against each other. And it kind of brings me back to, this first Star Wars movie, not the Phantom Menace Star Wars, where you get the pod racer race. That was an excellent scene. I mean, I would have to admit, from that movie, and it brought me back to that feeling of it. So it was great. I had a lot of fun with this movie. And then the ending is a little bit terrible. I mean, there's so much about this movie that I really did love, but then the ending part and Morgan Freeman's acting in this movie really brought it down a notch. So Ben-Hur, I would have to go ahead and rate it a 6.8 out of 10. This is a little bit better. I really did enjoy this. I wish I could do more of a review on it, but unfortunately I'd have to jump onto the next movie. So Ben-Hur, which is an awesome movie. I recommend you guys go and watch it. Now on to the next movie, you guys. Next up, we've got Masterminds. And Masterminds is actually based on a true story. Back in 1977, we have the gentleman who is played by Zach Galifianakis, and he's the guy who is the, I don't know what you would call, like a bank guard or whatnot, but he has the flirtations with what's her name? Kristen Wiig, Kristen Wiig's character, and she, flirts him into having to go and rob this bank for her, and she is persuaded by another character played by Owen Wilson, and Owen Wilson's character, he's a very selfish guy who uses her to use him to getting the money. And he's pretty much what you would call the pawn of the whole thing, because he runs off to Mexico with like 10% of the whole thing, and now he's being chased by not only the American police but by the Mexican police as well. So this is a comedy movie. I was entertained by it. It was really great, and Zach Galifianakis' character finds who is responsible for putting him in this situation. So Owen Wilson's character hires Jason Sudeikis' character. He's like like a sniper. He's a, what do you call it? Like the guy who goes after someone and kills them for money. And this is an okay movie. It's based on a true story, one of the greatest bank robberies of all time. They robbed $17 million, and that has never been done before, other than this moment that happened back in '97. I had a few great laughs. It was a great movie. I'm pretty sure not all of it was true, but the story itself alone was, of course, true. But yeah, Masterminds, I would give it a 4.3 out of 10. Great movie. If you want to have a great time with a comedy flick, this is a good movie to watch. So Masterminds, great movie. On to our last movie, which is, last one on my list is Jack Reacher. Never Go Back, and this is a sequel to the original Jack Reacher back in 2013, and I loved the first movie so much that I wanted to go watch the second movie. Not only did I love Jack Reacher, I also love Tom Cruise movies. Tom Cruise is a brilliant actor. I've seen him ever since back in the 1980s when he first started. And Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, is not as great as the first movie, but it's still a great movie. I'm very happy having to see such an awesome movie. This is based off of a book that's like 10 other books, so hopefully this franchise continues with several movies down the road. But based off of having to see the second one, I highly doubt that they would. But my ratings towards Jack Reacher, Never Go Back is an awesome movie, because we also get Colby Smulders in the movie too, and I think she's an awesome actress as well. Brilliant and sexy. So Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, I give my rating towards it and 6.8 out of 10. Great movie, loved it. had fun with it. So those are my 5 that I rented. I will be doing so many awesome videos regarding towards the movies that I rent, or even the movies that I have. As you can tell, I have so many awesome, great movies here that I would love to review with you guys. If you have any requests as to which movies that you would like for me to review on, please comment in the section down below. Give me an email, a shout out, anything, just to let me know that you guys want me to do this for you guys, because this is my pride and joy. I love having to do these things. This is a great hobby of mine, and if you guys love to do something such as these, if I can do it, you can do it as well. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch my videos. I'll see you guys at the movies. Okay, stay awesome. Bye.